Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the 13th episode of the SuperNova Show. And this is your host, Colton Roberts. Lucky number 13, that's what they say, and this is going to be a good show today. I've got a great cast of characters. We're gonna talk some Schmoedown Throwdown. We're gonna talk some fan league stuff. We're going to talk Justice League because me and Robert talked about that last week, but I have not heard Amaru's opinion on it yet. So we're going to talk that. We're going to talk about the sequel trilogy of the Star Wars movies. That's going to be very interesting. I have some strong things to say about that. Not like, as strong as Anthony with his Lord of the Rings movies, but something similar. Yeah, and then we're going to review episode 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This is going to be a good time. I can't wait. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up my first guest, Robert Kastner.
Hey, Robert. Back again. Lucky number 13. Hopefully the people around here don't have triskaidekaphobia. That is a $10 word.
Yes, sir. Yeah, 13 episodes in, 3 months down, every Friday. We've done it. It's been a good time.
Haven't been canceled yet, so that's something good.
Yeah, unless TMG goes under, this show will not get canceled. So
look at that.
Yeah.
Long live TMG then.
Yes. And even if it does, we can always appear on here and just talk. It just won't go on the internet. So
yeah. Back behind the scenes, real Rocky and Apollo type stuff with like Mickey and whoever else wants to be there.
Yep. So how you do? How's your week been?
Week's been long, long work week. Again, always enjoy the show because it means that the genesis of the weekend is upon us. So always happy about that. But long work week. Glad that it is over.
Well, that's good. So last week you had your little in parentheses thing was thank God it's Friday, March Madness, and then the B word, and I don't use profanity. So what does Star Spangled Man mean?
Well, I mean, that's an allusion to something that we will be talking about later on.
Okay. I got you.
I didn't have a good tag for what it is that I wanted to say here today.
All right.
I'm not saying anything about anything. I just use that as a thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's like obviously, I mean, it's weird that spoiler alert if you haven't seen Justice League yet, Superman didn't don the classic red and blue costume.
We had seen that already. We wanted to see him in the Jor-El black.
Yeah, that's true. That was good. I actually really liked that about the Zack Snyder cut is that they didn't do the classic costume. So as someone who loves black suit Spider-Man the best, I'm a fan of black suit whatever. Yeah, black pretty much makes anyone look cool.
That's why all my sports teams don it, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's been an interesting week. Like I told people, you guys before the show is I am going on vacation next week.
Yeah.
So next week we're gonna have Kevin Poss host the show, as long as I remember to add him to the group chat.
Boy, wouldn't that be funny if you didn't, and then we were just in hiatus?
Oh no, because then I'll have to be forced to do the show, and then my wife will be mad at me.
I bet she would be.
Yes, so much.
And apologies about the hysterical laughter. There's something that was going on in the private chat that just
that's really
filled me with glee.
That's really funny. But yeah, so next week we're gonna have another host. I am fortunately enough going on vacation, so I don't want to have to be back and doing this and being tired. I like being energetic, and yeah, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Taking a week off for myself.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but don't worry. I get the 1 week. The other 51 belong to TMG Entertainment.
Not even Christmas can stop this.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good time. I'm gonna go ahead and send you to the back, and then I'll bring out Mr. Amaru Moses.
Sounds good. I'll just thumb wrestle with myself.
Oh, well, that's lovely. Amaru, how you doing?
Been eating on stream all week, and I am the cause of the hysterical laughter because, yes, black is lovely. I have it on 24/7.
Yeah, that was really funny. I tried to be professional, but
Professional all the time.
yeah,
Oh.
it like I didn't crack up at all. I read that comment and was like, ha ha, in my own brain.
Yes.
But yeah. So, how you been?
I got the vaccine on Monday, and Tuesday, my body said, screw you. It was all chills and aches and tiredness. Yeah, nice. Yes, eating is hands on screen. That's fine. But I am fully vaccinated, and it gave me an excuse to get off work, a legit excuse, because again, I was tired and my body was hurting. But that lasted a day, and then I was tired on Wednesday, and I am good now. So yeah, pretty good week went by. Enjoyed it.
So I have a question. So at what point do you grow the third arm or the third eye in the middle of your forehead?
A couple of days ago, it was a third ear from somebody else. So now it's a third eye or I don't know. Look, I have grown nothing new. I've actually cut some things because this doesn't grow. If this could grow back, I would love that. Like vaccine. Where is this? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I am dreading the day that happens to me because I have a weird head and I'm gonna look like a weird bald weirdo.
See, yeah, some people have asked me why haven't I just cut it all, and I'm like, these things right here, it's gonna be the third ear. That's what's gonna happen. These go like this when everything is gone. So I just try to keep it low as much as possible. Or if you see me with like more hair, but you can tell the bald spots, it's because I've been lazy and didn't want to cut my hair. So
yeah, I understand. So how's teaching going?
Teaching is teaching. Kids are back in the building. More and more kids are getting back in the building every day because districts like to just change things every week. And I guess technically they're going based off of what the CDC is telling them. I personally would not like having more kids in the building, but hey, I got to work. So, and it hasn't been horrible, but yeah, there's only about like a month and a half left of school this year. So,
yep, and then back to summer break.
Yay! Cannot.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, like my kids also will be going to summer break, and that's going to be real fun. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm supposed to take some time off up with them this summer if everything gets according to plan, or if it goes according to plan, then that would be awesome. I would love that.
Except for the fact that TMG owns those weeks. So
hey, they only own the Fridays. So far, apparently Combat Wrestling Trivia has owned like so many of my days. Like I have had 3 matches this week because they knew I was on vacation next week. And then I have something for Antle on Sunday, and I'm like, why? I'm so glad that I get to be off next week, but why do we have to have all the matches in the universe? I will have had more matches this week than I probably have in the last like month and a half.
That's always how it happens. It's always like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches, and then like 2 months of nothing.
Yep.
And then another 3, 4 matches in a week, and it's like, can y'all just? No, not when there's like 50 different leagues. And
yeah, and
fun. So
yeah, me and Robert talked last week that we both tested into Full Metal Geek, so that's really
Congratulations. Yes.
Yep. I did not expect it. Like I told him last week that I thought I did horribly wrong. Like it was awful. I thought it was horrible, but apparently I did well enough, and now I need to study. So that's going to be loads of fun. I'm sure my wife will totally love that.
I am currently in the middle of a X-Men run, so
Ooh.
I know the studying life.
Yeah. I apologize for those last 2 movies they put out. Those are like the worst.
Well, do you mean like Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, or Dark Phoenix and New Mutants? Because Dark Phoenix is definitely in there.
Yeah. I was thinking Dark Phoenix and New Mutants.
Dark Phoenix is incredibly mediocre, and New Mutants isn't bad to me.
Okay.
I've only seen it once though, so seeing it again is like, okay, let's see how this goes. Dark Phoenix is just incredibly mediocre, even more mediocre than Apocalypse, which I low-key enjoy. So.
Oh yeah, I like Apocalypse. But all right, let's bring Robert back out here and let's talk some Schmoedown.
Let's do that.
Oh my lord. Okay. So something happened last Friday, the 19th, and me and Robert, for the first time ever, we both picked the same person, and we were both absolutely wrong. And I don't like, what alternate universe are we living in now?
Y'all were right for half a second.
Yeah.
For half a second.
Yeah, like, oh my lord.
That match was incredible. Well, okay, I take that back. I only saw the 5th round because I knew it was like, there's no way they're not going perfect into the 5th round and then possibly sudden death. So once 5th round hit, I was like, okay, time to watch. For real. And I was right. And that was an epic of epic all matches to have epicness. I'm not as good as word with Robert as his triskaidekaphobia in Genesis of the weekend, but I try.
I got to be honest. I have not gotten a chance to watch. I know the results, so it's okay for spoilers and whatnot. I will just ask the general outlined question. Was it the greatest Star Wars match ever?
Yes.
It may have been the greatest match ever.
Yes.
Yeah. Period. Like, it was so good. Oh my.
The only thing that rivals it, which I still don't think beats it, is my favorite match, which is Rachel Mara.
Yeah.
And I still don't think, I think that rivals it because of their circumstances during the match. How beat down you knew they were.
Yeah, I actually agree. I still like this match. I really like the Iron Man match between Ken and Sam, but I think this was insane. Like, I figure, like, it's so weird, like, watching the stuff, and of course, like, me and Robert don't know anything about the behind the scenes stuff.
No.
But
noobs.
It makes me think that match was so good that they would book the rematch sooner than June, unless they've already recorded Alex beating Barbarian.
I think they said May for them because I think oh wow, why am I Laura? I wanted to say Kelly, like that's her first name, but that's her last name. I think Laura plays in June, and I think the rematch is in May.
Okay. But yeah, like that rematch would be huge. So I'm wondering if they took the break for Alex to do IG for a few weeks. Because he's got that pre-number one contender match against Barbarian, and then the winner of that plays Mike. So maybe
that might be a reason.
Yeah.
You're all speaking Greek to me. Honestly, I have no idea about these machinations.
Yeah, like
Damon and DiMelanzo are going back at it in May. Laura gets the winner of that. And then yes, but Damon and Barbarian also have a IG match, and whoever wins that plays Kalinowski for a #1 contender match.
Oh, well, I mean, my assumption would be that Damon takes back the title. I know that's an assumption. Again, I hadn't seen the Dimalanta match, so I don't know kind of like the ins and outs of it. But my guess would be Damon gets it back and then retains from Laura, but then he probably loses to Barbarian, and then Kalinowski beats Barbarian. That would be my general run of circumstances, how I think that would play out.
When it comes to Kelly and Dimalanta and Damon with Star Wars, I do not make any predictions because I feel like they will all go perfect the entire time. And you're just going to be like, how long are we going to be here before somebody messes up? And that's really what it's going to be.
That's true. I'm just putting my feet in my mouth. I already put my foot in my mouth already. Why not? Why don't I just keep going? It's fine. There's lots of room here.
Yep. So I remember like watching along. I didn't get to watch the Bibbs and Oyama match because podcast things and stuff, but I got there to watch the Star Wars match, and I've always thought to myself, hey, I know Star Wars. I like Star Wars. I don't know crap about Star Wars compared to
No, in comparison, no.
yeah, no, like I mean, I understand it's Alex's job to do that, and like they're so good at it. Like, dear Lord, they're so good at it.
He taught me Bob Johnson, the guy who taught the lightsaber choreography, who also was the guy who taught sword choreography on Lord of the Rings. I learned that too before he died. So it's helpful. You get to learn things from it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it's an entire thing. And just during the course of this podcast, I was just told that there's a show on Friday that we're going to go back in time and we're going to predict that, since I totally forgot that there was a show tonight and I wouldn't have watched it. I would probably watch WWE because that's what I do on Friday nights, but now I'm going to go watch Schmoedown Battlefield.
Battlefield.
Yeah, so now I have to look up what the matches are because I have been presented with.
That's all I'm going 4-0. Suspects are going 4-0. So I hope by the time people see this, I am correct, and the suspects are 4-0 because Roka is not beating Liz Shannon Miller. Liz Shannon Miller is a beast. She is. Here's how beastly she is behind the scenes. She survived and thrived on Bill questions.
Whoa.
Bill questions. Survived, more than survived, and thrived on some Bill questions. Roka is not beating her. It's not happening. We're going to be 4-0, and I will be a happy person.
If you can do that, you're all kinds of equipped for a movie apocalypse.
Yeah, and if Roka somehow has proven me wrong by this point, whatever. It's still a feat to do well in some Bill questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have Bateman versus Riley, and Bateman's got to win.
Meh.
I gotta root for Riley because when it's not the suspects, I root for the Den and the Stars because of Jacoby and Peg and Christina. But in general, I actually would have rooted for Riley in the first place. Now, whether that will actually happen,
I think Riley winning is better for the storyline. I think it would be really funny for the storyline, but the realistic value of that is I don't think anyone's beaten Ben.
Riley hasn't been like his championship form in a while. He's kind of went back, means back to the average or whatever that saying is, which means really, really good. But I don't think, though it is their first match in a while, but I'm not thinking at Bateman's level. But we'll see.
But,
Days. Or we've already seen, and it's happening in the future of the past and things. Speaking of, I'll be watching that movie next.
yes, that one's a good one.
Yes, it is.
It's a good
Yeah,
one.
it's
Continue on with.
yeah, it's probably my second favorite of the X-Men movies.
Yeah, same here. It is my second favorite.
Yeah,
Are we
just
talking about X-Men movies, or are we talking about the whole universe?
I would say the whole universe because I consider it only right after Logan.
I would consider it third. I would put Deadpool above it.
Yeah, I love the first Deadpool,
It's a preference.
but
I go back and forth with Deadpool. I don't know because X2 is my favorite. It's always been my favorite X-Men movie in the X-Men universe. And then favorite Days of Future Past is always 2 or 3. Logan is the I would say Logan is the best, but not my favorite because it's just hard to watch. So I don't go back to it very often. But Deadpool at times is like number 2, and then at times it's like it's getting a little old. I'm not in the mood for it at the moment, so it's 3. Never not funny, but there's sometimes where I'm thinking, and I weirdly, which I hate doing, I think Deadpool 2, the low key stink of it kind of seeps into 1. I'm like, this is the stuff that's getting old now. Is that what it's like in 1? And then I watch it and I'm like, no, there's just Deadpool 2 that gets a little old.
I agree with everything you just said. Like, I hate Deadpool 2 because they make the same stupid joke like 5 times in a row. And the first time it's pretty funny. And every time they say it afterwards, it's like less and less funny. Like him dying at the end, and he closes his eyes, and then he wakes up, and then he closes his eyes, and he wakes up. The first time it was hilarious. The second time made me want to die.
The 5th time,
the 5th time I wanted to like jump off the banister and just take me out. It's okay.
I don't dislike it that much. I actually like it a fair amount, but I can understand. It's the Guardians versus Guardians 2.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle. When it's old and trying too hard, I'm like whatever, like Guardians 2, but it's still a fairly okay movie. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's kind of how I would classify it.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Since we're still talking Schmoedown stuff, what do you guys think of the Andrew Guy storyline of him being back in 2017 and running around? I absolutely love it. Like, it's so funny, and like him running around and being like, "Why are people telling me to wear a mask? I don't understand." And I'm like, "Ha ha." Simpler times.
I like parts of it, and there are parts of it I do not like. We'll say. I like the thing he did with Bateman. I thought that was kind of funny. The last one I watched, which is the one with Grace, I could care less. I didn't understand the point of it. Besides setting up that he'll try to be on the desk. I could have got there a lot quicker. But some parts hit, some parts miss for me.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I mentioned before, storylines are hit and miss. Early year stuff, it seemed a little more genuine and like as natural as the game. So I liked it. And then later on, I was like, okay, this is This one kind of seemed like it hit the perfect spot for Guy. I love that he was back in the Collider office and they wouldn't let him in. I thought that was that was perfect for him. I'm enjoying it. I don't need to hear about the Schmo whatever Illuminati. I don't care. That I don't give a shit about. So let Guy be in 2017. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. His Schmoeminati, like everyone else was freaking out about it. And I was like, I don't like this. And then when he played Bateman and he was acting up the role so much that I was like, ooh, I feel sorry for Christian because this is supposed to be the match that's right before Kevin Smith and Chris Jericho. Oh, no.
I never watched that match, and I probably won't.
Like, I did better in that match than Andrew Guy did, and I don't play singles. And I think it was character work like that.
Not good when the storyline bleeds into the competition.
Yeah.
It puts, I don't want to say it puts a stain on it. I'm saying it treats it in a way that makes it disingenuous. It doesn't do it any favors, is what I'll say. So when it does that, I definitely don't like it. So I agree with that.
Yep. Alrighty. So, is there any big things in the fan leagues? I know Joe Farrelly beat Antonio Chavez in the #1 contenders match in Untitled Geek.
Yep.
Well, I mean, a little segue straight before fan leagues. Christina got screwed. Screw the wheel. Horror sucks. She should have spun first. But whatever. She'll be back. She'll be back.
Yeah, she'll be fine. I like those horror questions, but I'm a horror person. So, but yeah, no, she showed me something. Hold on, time out. Christina's been good, and Christina's very good in what she knows. This one showed me a bit more of her general overarching knowledge than I had seen.
And from jump, Christina has always said the trivia knowledge isn't like her strength. It's her ability to play and have fun and have character by being herself is her big strength. And she can answer some questions.
Yeah.
But it also showed she can answer a lot of questions.
Yeah. So that's what I was impressed by. I knew the stuff that she would be fine on the microphone. That's not a question.
Yeah. I watched that match yesterday. Yeah, because it came out yesterday.
Yes.
No, it came out Thursday. This is Sunday.
Yeah, you're right. But see, we went back in time to make our predictions.
We're like Caleb Boatman. We always go back in time.
Yeah. So, so now it's Sunday again. So Thursday I watched that, and she did better than what I would have done. So,
yeah. But back to the one guy who beat me for a championship, playing the other guy who beat me in 2 #1 contenders matches.
Yeah. So, now for the Untitled Geek title, it's going to be Nico Suave Rigoli versus Joe Farrelly. So,
my bad. I was thinking David because they play in TMG. They play in the league that owns you. So that's what I was thinking. But yes, I'm actually really excited to see Nico in a championship.
And to segue off that, it's technically 2 titles because he's not only Joe and Nico are not only playing in Untitled, they're also playing in Nerd Entertainment Network, the Nerddom there as well. I know this because on Friday, my semifinal match with Joe goes up, which I talked about, but you'll be able to see that.
Damn, I voted for you in that. I thought you would sneak the win.
I won't spoil how it goes, but it was a very good match, but I only had 4 hours to prepare. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah,
I've proven that I can hang with Joe, and that's what I care about.
Yeah, he's so good. Like,
Yes.
Very, 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 very good.
I've played him once in traditional in TMG, and he killed me. Well, he knocked me out. And then I played him in Nerd Entertainment Network, and even though that's a different format, he absolutely murdered me.
Yeah.
And
I mean, when and we can go back to the TMG title match with Amaru, when he was answering questions and Amaru was like, I wouldn't have known that. That lets you know the caliber of the player that Joe is.
Yep, I agree.
Should we mention some other things really quickly? In Full Metal Geek, the tournament there is at the final, and I think we can say that some interesting things happen in that tournament because the people who were the higher seeds in the semis both lost, which was intriguing.
Yeah, and I'm just happy the guy that beat me is in the final. So,
yeah, I mean,
that's all I asked for.
I mean that. So I guess we'll just say it because it's already happened. Albert beat Tim Bracala in an interesting match where Tim got opponent's choice, and Albert gave him mixed bag as he should have, and it worked out, and they won by TKO. And then Scully played David. And David got Star Trek, but I think he missed on a question.
Middle Earth. He got Middle Earth.
Watched it. That's what it was. He's going to take Marvel, took Middle Earth, missed on a question, which was a crazy question that confused the hell out of me for sure.
So same here.
Yeah, and then Scully ran the table with MCU, and David couldn't get. I can't remember what his 5-point question was. Oh, I remember now. It was what's Scott's favorite food in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yep.
That movie always comes up, and David lost by TKO. So we got Albert and Scully in that tournament final to figure out who gets to be. I don't want to say the sacrificial lamb to Nick Tuig. I will say who gets to oppose him and hopefully give him a good match.
Man, so if Scully wins, then we get to see like him and Tuig go at it again for like the 6th time in the last year.
Which Scully would love, because Scully in Multiplex has always talked about how Nick is holding the 2 belts that he once had that he wants back. He feels married to them, I think is what he claims. So, yeah.
2 girlfriends.
But my money would be on Albert. Albert's been impressive, and I know Amaru would want Albert to win.
For sure.
For sure. And he's super impressive. Every time I watch him, I get more and more impressed, which is silly because I've watched him enough, but he's just very, very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't watch either. I knew Tim lost.
Sorry.
But it's fine. I've barely watched any Full Metal stuff. Long. Yeah, I'm gonna
have to watch now. For sure.
Back when I had my gauntlet, I had COVID, and they asked me to. I had my thing, and I wasn't gonna say no. I'm not gonna play because then I'm not giving up the shot. But man, I felt horrible and did horrible, and I was like, ooh, yeah.
I forgot you played in the gauntlet too. Isn't that funny? I played in the gauntlet and I lost to Nico because Nico had a perfect game. The best game Nico's ever played in his life.
That's because Nico got Star Wars 5 out of the 6 gauntlet matches.
He really did. I don't know what deal he made with which devil at which crossroad, but it definitely paid off for him.
Yeah, I agree because you got Star Wars in my match too, and
Star Wars in mine. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, and it was a rough match, but I'm glad to have gotten to take all this time off from Geek Trivia. Like, I've been doing wrestling trivia, and that is like I'm not very good. To be frank, I am horrible. So I set myself a very low goal, and as long as I get close to it, I'm fine. But I'm not ever gonna win. My goal is just to do better than myself. And eventually, I will win another match, and we'll be good. But yeah, like now I'm gonna have to ramp up for Untitled and Full Metal, studying for Geek. So after my week of vacation, here comes studying time.
Hey Colton, I'll leave you with a quote, or not leave because we're gonna keep going, but the equivalent of that for us to move off this subject probably. From the great movie Dodgeball, A True Underdog Story. I found that if you have a goal, you might not reach it. But if you don't, then you'll never be disappointed. And I have to say, it feels phenomenal.
Vince Vaughn is a great motivational speaker. Yes, amazing.
Yeah. Sorry your dodgeball coach got crushed by 2 tons of irony Hallmark card. I
love that film very much.
Me too.
Yep. All right, so movies.
Yes.
So before we get into Justice League, we had a Suicide. Have you seen the Suicide Squad trailer? All right, so
I'm currently editing it in the middle of editing it. My trailer reaction right now.
Yeah, I watched it because I didn't know that it was out. Robert sent the message out, and I was like, "Ooh, I will watch that." It seems pretty good. John Cena, it might be my bias because I'm a wrestling dude, but he is hilarious.
He's going to be so fucking good.
John Cena plays John Cena in every movie, and as long as he continues to play John Cena, he will be perfect because his comedic timing is hilarious.
Yes.
As John Cena.
Yep. I agree completely, and I can't – there's only 2 returning characters from the other Suicide Squad movie.
There's 4.
No, there's more than that, I think.
I think there's 4. There's Harley Quinn, there's Rick Flag, there's Captain Boomerang, and then there's Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
There we go. Yep.
Okay.
And the good thing about that is, now I know a lot of people love Harley Quinn from the original Suicide Squad. I mostly liked her, but her shtick got old to me. But But when I saw this, I was like, man, this shtick really works in this movie. I'll tell you, like in a James Gunn movie. But I'm really excited about the fact that they'll be able to redeem seemingly like Rick Flag for sure. It seems like Joel Kinnaman is a lot better in this one potentially than he was in the Suicide Squad.
So I just watched Suicide Squad a couple days ago, which it's not a good movie.
No, it's entertaining.
It's actually really entertaining. It's not like the pile of crap that everybody says it is. I'd rather watch Suicide Squad than Batman v Superman. And I watched them back to back, and I stand by that. But maybe because Suicide Squad is bad and his accent was like really bad. In the trailer, he sounds weird compared to the Rick Flag of the old movie. It was one thing I was like, why is he sounding not as country as he used to be?
Maybe that's just the choice they made. Who knows? I have no idea. I'm just hoping that that's the case. But obviously, the winner of that trailer was John Cena / King Shark.
King Shark. That's the name of him because I didn't know the name of that character. I just saw a shark.
I used to watch that Harley Quinn show with Lake Bell and Kaylee Cuoco, and Ron Funches does the voice of King Shark in that, and he's freaking awesome, and I love it so much. This one, King Shark is a lot less eloquent, but it's Sylvester Stallone, so I guess you get over it, you know?
Yeah, I'm a big comic guy. I have never heard of King Shark up until this trailer. I had to Google who is this shark guy. And by the way, when you Google that, that's not the best. So many things pop up. Like the stupid shark that danced at the Super Bowl. That came up.
Wait, yeah. King Shark? When you Google King Shark,
no. When you Google who is this shark guy?
That's what it was. Sorry, you're right, because you didn't know the name.
I had no idea what the name was, and eventually, I put enough additional words in there to where it popped up, and then I was like, cool.
What I really liked about this trailer was that King Shark was the only treat that James Gunn dangled in front of us. Because this was a fairly straightforward, no big things, no like huge oh my gosh moments to give anything away from this movie. He was just like, I'll give you King Shark. I'll give you that to get you interested. Because the rest of the trailer, if you didn't have King Shark in it, that trailer would have been like, okay, that's cool.
Not seen as funny.
Not seen as funny, but what also came across is the fact that James Gunn is an amazing director, and as silly as he can be, heart always seems to be in it. And I could tell that there's going to be heart in this film.
It's unapologetically James Gunn. That's what I got from the trailer, and I love that. As someone who will ride or die for Super any day of the week, so I'm super happy. The one other thing I guess was like a tease that I heard was Stara was the big monster. I don't know much about it because I'm not a comics person, but I know people have talked about Stara in connection, especially, which will be a nice segue when we get to Justice League about what was in Justice League. So I think that's the other big tease. But if you don't know it, and I don't know, I'm speaking from what I've heard.
I don't know. I just learned about Mephisto like for real during WandaVision, and I'm a Marvel guy. I am not a DC guy.
Yeah.
I didn't look at anything DC growing up outside of popular culture. So I know none of this, and I am fine with that. Just having Idris Elba and John Cena go at it, I'm for that.
Idris Elba looks like this is like what the Losers should have been, but it's better than that. So it's like DC, like his next chance at DC stuff is a way better vehicle for him than the Losers were, which is good.
Though I enjoyed the Losers and need to watch it again.
I enjoy the Losers as well. I'm just saying that it was hamstrung, and this movie doesn't look hamstrung because it's R-rated and it's James Gunn. So.
Yeah. All right. So to move on to something else DC related, Amr,
it wasn't me this time.
Nope.
I thought it was me. It was Colton. Cool. I was gonna say you cut to me, and then I'm frozen. It looks like he's back.
Yep, he's back.
There we go. I'm assuming you asked.
Oh, now it was you.
How did I like it?
You guys are hot potato like that. That's great.
Of course. Here's my review for Justice League. Ancient lamentation music. If you watch Justice League on closed captions, anytime Wonder Woman came up, that was what ancient lamentation music plays, and it came up 16 times. And it's about as many times as the slow motion hit. And if Snyder would have cut the slow motion, this would have been it just changed nothing else, but cut the slow motion. This would have been a 2 hour and 45-minute movie. With all of that, I still very much enjoyed it. Because I knew the slow-mo was coming. Like, after the first 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, we're slow-moing a barista. I see what we're doing here. So I'm going to accept this and just go with the flow, because the second that Steppenwolf threw a horse, I was like, okay, we're here. Let's just see what happens. So I enjoyed it. I did like it. I just enjoyed myself. What I do need to do, and I need to finish because I think I'm enjoying more, is if you haven't done it, I have gone through half of Leslie Jones's watch along on Twitter, which is the most hilarious thing on earth. Go find Leslie Jones. She did a watch along for the entire 4 hours, and it is the best hour you will spend in your life today.
Okay. So I have a question for you. Me and Robert talked about it last week. So now that this movie has came out and is technically an IG movie, what are the odds that the Schmoedown's going to put this movie? I know PJ has talked about it. But will it be in there this season, or will they wait till next season?
I wouldn't be surprised if, depending on when, based off of what's been announced, it seems like IG tourney will be like second half of the year, maybe July, second half of summer. By then, I wouldn't be surprised if it was there.
Because I'll go ahead and tell you, I feel sorry for you, because having to study this, like, I love the movie, but having to study it would be like,
in my mind, I've already seen half of it before it even started.
Yep.
It was Justice League, and I know Justice League. So, and literally everything that's longer is just slow motion versions of what I already know.
I don't feel bad for Amaru. I feel bad for the middling to lower tier players that have to try to keep it straight between the theatrical version and this cut. That's who I feel bad for. I don't feel bad for him. He's fine. He'll always be fine.
Yeah, like, that's a thing where I've watched it once. My sons want to watch it again, or they want to watch it because they haven't seen it yet. So I'm gonna watch it again, and the thought of, because I'm not one of those people that can just study. Like, if it's watching I have to watch the movie, and watching it by myself for 4 hours would be so horribly boring, and just to study. And that's how I learn, is by rewatching the movies. And I know that's how I am. So doing stuff like that is like, I can't say I feel sorry for myself, because I'm putting myself in the situation. So I can in turn say, I feel sorry for you guys, because if you guys are like me, I hope you're not. Then you're a little neurotic. I apologize, and I'm so sorry. But yeah, so that's something.
I mean, I need to watch it again because I watched it over like 2 days in very short increments. So there are things about it that I need to redigest because I don't think they really hit home. But I think I did enjoy what I needed to enjoy out of it. So I guess that's a good thing.
I watched it in one sitting by myself, and I would do that again before watching Batman versus Superman again if I had a choice.
Absolutely.
Ooh, I really like Batman versus Superman, but
I don't not like it. I just it's a long thing, especially because on HBO Max it's the extended cut, and that's 3 hours. So it's like, whew. Whew, that's long, and there's no slow-mo in that one. Or at least a lot.
I don't know why. Like, a lot of people do not like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I love him as Lex Luthor. Like, everyone hates on that character. And every time I'm watching it, I'm like, yeah, that is exactly how someone who was a millennial would act when they're rich and famous and a genius. It totally makes sense. Like, I'm not rich or famous, and I still act like that.
I'm not rich or famous, and I definitely am not a genius. So are you saying those are the things that are missing from me licking on a Jolly Rancher and then shoving it in someone's mouth?
I mean, you got to add a little psychosis in there, but
okay,
maybe.
Just a little bit.
You're psychotic is, what does he say?
It's a three-syllable word for
Little minds.
Small minds or feeble minds.
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't remember if it was words or syllables, but you're right. It's 3 syllables not understood by those with little minds or whatever he says. But yeah, yes, that's how I feel now, based on what you said, Colton.
Yeah.
I will say I enjoyed the nightmare ending. And I kind of wish we would get the rest of that story. I wish we would have gotten it. I don't think we should because other people are already working on other stories. But I would have liked to have seen it.
Yeah.
I know it was a lot of people's opinions that they hated it. I liked it for the juxtaposition between we talked about it last week, but I liked, Slade Wilson being all on the Batman vendetta. And then right there, you're like, wait, why are they together? That's crazy. What the hell happened at the time? And then I like, obviously, this interpretation. I obviously like Joker interpretations more than Jared Leto's, but this Jared Leto interpretation of Joker is better than the Jared Leto interpretation of Joker that we got.
He suffers from having to deal with the fact that we know that other one. So we're now like, oh, you're just...
Other 3 that I would prefer over him.
No, but I'm saying we already know Jared Leto's. Wow. Jared Leto's previous one. Yeah. So instead of just taking him as he was in that version, we're like, oh, so now you're trying to be Heath, right? Instead of if he would have came out with this one, he took little influences of everybody here and there. Heath, a big part, but he's his own person. But now we're like, oh, we see the previous one. Now you're trying to, yeah. But I enjoyed it. I liked it.
I would have taken him as a more antagonistic Joker to Batman. Like, obviously, Heath Ledger's Joker was an antagonist to Batman, but I'm saying this Joker likes to poke and prod him with
reach around. Reach around.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? It's fucking reach around. Batman's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Oh.
Yep.
I also like the gifs going out about Martian Manhunter being like, was it? I sat out the Steppenwolf fight, but he is the him and like, I got you next time, bro.
Yeah, man, him and Wong are cousins, brothers. There's something. They the ones asking who all gonna be there for the party.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I agree. I wish we could see where the story was going, but we never will. Like the, hashtag restore the Snyderverse is not going to happen. I mean, I say that, but 4 years ago when people were like, release the Snyder cut, I was also the person that was like, they'll never do that. And here we are, they did. So if they get like a million angry tweets about it and stuff, who knows? And all the other movies just do horribly, they might do it.
May I propose here for the first time, and I want credit for it, that there should just be a string of podcasts now, revisionist history of what happens in the DC if the Snyderverse happens from this point on. So we have our real timeline, and then we have the Snyderverse timeline, and we should just do podcasts about what the Snyderverse timeline would look like.
Ooh, I love that idea.
So it's my idea. I copyright it, but I think that's something that should be considered.
Well, if you do a podcast on this, I want to be on it.
Okay. I have a few revisionist history podcasts that I'm working on right now, so that might be thrown into the mix.
All right, cool. That sounds awesome. I like little things like that. Like they do. There's a game where if the Nazis won World War II, how modern day would be so different.
There's a show about it. It's called The Man in the High Castle.
say that's true, and that's also a dark ass game.
Yeah,
Really dark.
I know.
Yeah.
David and Dan from Game of Thrones, they were going to make if the South won the Civil War.
There is that one too.
I remember that.
Yes.
And then they didn't get to do it because Game of Thrones turned out so horribly.
On top of the fact that everybody was like, nah.
Yeah.
Bad optics, man. Bad optics.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't like, I've wondered that myself. Obviously, slavery would not still be a thing because the fact that slavery happened, the South was in such a worse economy that slavery actually held us back from the Industrial Revolution. So I think if we had won, or since we're in the South, if the South had won the war, the South would have got taken over by Great Britain. And then the Great Britain probably would have took over the rest of the United States until we had another revolution.
You do realize that you are just continuing along the plot points of Wild Wild West, right? Because that's basically what Wild Wild West, like the plan of that was. I'm just saying that, yeah.
I loved Kenneth Branagh as Arliss Lovelace. He was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He's absolutely hilarious.
And I know they kind of bring up that in the second National Treasure movie as well, that the Queen of England was supporting the South because a divided America is an easier America to take over. So I guess
someone who doesn't play singles, that's a pretty good pull as a reference.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I love those movies.
They're amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they might be Nick Cage's best movies.
That's not true, but what I will say is that they I think they're the most Nick Cage movies where Nick Cage doesn't fly off the handle. I will say that.
Also, Sean Bean doesn't die in the first one, which is a miracle.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's something. Yeah, like I love those movies.
You have to watch the Nick Cage action trilogy special. You have to watch Leaving Las Vegas or Raising Arizona. I was brought on to Matchstick Men, which is a good one, adaptation. There are a lot of better Nick Cage movies / performances than National Treasure, but I understand your point, Colton.
Yeah, it might be a fact that I was like in the 6th grade whenever that movie came out, which is like nostalgia is definitely a big, huge thing when it comes to stuff. But
except for those two films, they're still really, really great.
Yeah, I'll watch National Treasure 1 anytime it's on.
Oh,
anytime. I love it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I have it on my Xbox. Like I bought both of them, and I will, like once a year, I'll be like, ooh, National Treasure.
Have you ever watched those Andy Samberg SNLs on Weekend Update where it's Get in the Cage and he'll have an actor on and he'll just be like, so you're in this time traveling, like it's Jake Gyllenhaal in Source Code. It's like, you're in this time traveling movie. We're trying to prevent a terrorist attack and you keep going back in time. My first question is, how am I not in that movie? And then he just goes through like, what is like, that's all the makings of a Nick Cage action film. 1, you got paid. And then he goes through all that shit. But then like at the end, he'll always say, I'm on to my next great adventure. I'm going to have sex with the Declaration of Independence. So they always bring it back to that.
Nice.
And I know, Amaru, you got to leave in just a minute. So, to do my hostly duties, is there anything you would like to plug on your way out? I know you had One Gotta Stay. I haven't had the chance to watch it yet because I don't know enough about that. I've only watched like 3 of those shows, so I need to watch some more. But yeah, that's the reason why I didn't.
I'm also 100% positive the topic for next week you also do not know about.
Ooh.
What I will say, it is hip hop oriented.
Oh
on
yeah,
on a single person. On a single person. But the video will be out sometime this week. Yeah, and then
are you accepting a list for that?
I haven't put it out yet, so I am always accepting.
Okay.
I will always accept a list when it's out. Yeah, always reach out. It's always a good time to have you on, sir. And what else is there besides regular Schmoedown stuff, bite-sized breakdown? Me and Ryan Permerson did a pretty nice interview on Ryan Permerson's channel, Nerd Culture. Yeah. Same old.
You had the interview with Aaron, right, on Schmo Talks?
Yeah, Schmo Talks still has me up. The interview that actually came on right after One Gotta Stay last Monday. So go check that out.
Yep.
And since you're talking about the sequel trilogy, before I get out, I have a full-on review on how I thought Rise of Skywalker was really, really good. And I look back at it and like, huh? What were you thinking? Because I saw it again afterwards, and I was like, this is not great. This is not good. This is not really a good movie.
You know how they always say you can't get a second attempt at a first impression? Sometimes the first impressions are bad.
Yeah. So, anywho, always a good time, gentlemen.
Oh, well, thank you for being on. I really appreciate it. I got to remember, next week, Kevin Poss is going to be the host of this show. If I say it a few more times in this broadcast, then I will totally remember.
You'll summon him, probably.
Totally, yeah.
You're a gentleman and a scholar, sir, and it's always a pleasure to get to talk to you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you all very much. I will see y'all next week, if not before then. Go do Classic Thursday. Peace.
Yeah, I will. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I will not.
They did Bill questions this last week, and I did about as well as Anthony did, and I think he won. So, whatever.
Yeah, I don't do singles. I can't do it.
Well, if you were gonna do them, Colton, you would prefer to do them on Thursdays because those are the ones that Amaru writes, and he'll throw a few geek stuff in there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a very interesting time. Like, I know I signed up for the Untitled singles thing.
Oh, you did?
Yep, and
message about it yet?
Yep, I sure have. I got one about 30 minutes ago, and I don't know how I feel about it. I told him I couldn't do it next week because of my vacation, but after that, I'll totally job to anyone. And if I get a single point, that's the goal. 1 point in this singles thing, and I'm not choosing some. Well, I don't even know how Untitled does their singles. They do a deep cut, don't they?
They do 10 questions in the top, and then you get deep cut. Each person picks a movie, and then you do 5 questions from each. You get 1 point for your movie and 2 points for the other person's movie. And then the third round is IMDb, which is 2, 3, and 5, where they give you statistics of a movie, and then you have to guess which one it is based on year, actor, director, key plot points, whatever.
Okay, yeah. So, yep. Still, the goal is 1 point. That's what we're going for. And if I don't reach it, I'll probably never play singles ever again. But yeah, so I was going to ask you when we were talking about fan league stuff.
Oh,
so what's up with Titan Trivia? I know they suspended their Titan Mania. I don't.
Yeah, we had filmed a few of them. Our commissioner of that league, I believe, is going through a few personal issues physically. And because of that, I believe we are suspended for a bit. So yeah, I wouldn't expect to get Titan Mania 2 videos for a hot minute because we still hadn't finished the slate that we were supposed to do. And I don't know if we'll get the full slate in time. But I think we're suspended indefinitely, we'll say.
All right. So to move back to movies, I know. All right. So the sequels.
Yes. I'm sorry we didn't get to hear Amaru's take on this. I forgot that we were.
Yeah. Well, we can always. I won't be on here next week, so I can always tell Kevin, "Hey, this is the outline. Do Clone Wars Solo and Rogue One. But if you guys want to talk about the other 9 movies, I'm cool with that. I don't care as long as you don't make it like 3 hours." because no one's gonna watch that.
No.
Oh, well, they might watch it because it won't have my face on it. No one's gonna watch my face for that long.
If they watch a 4-hour Snyder cut, they might watch a 3-hour.
Yeah, but Henry Cavill is a lot more handsome than I am. Even though, contrary to what my wife thinks, like I showed her a picture of Superman and she was like, yeah, I don't find him attractive. And that made me feel so good about myself because she's married to me, which means confirmed I am more attractive than Superman.
You'd run to the bank with that.
Oh, I totally will. But yeah, so the sequel trilogy. What is your opinion on it before I go on my little tangent?
I vacillate. I obviously realize that episode 7 is really just a retread of A New Hope. It's very obvious that is the case. There are still parts of it I enjoy. It obviously, when I watched it the first time, gave me the nostalgia feels. I lose that every bit so often, but I will say that one of the more effective parts all in Star Wars that always get to me is the part at the end when she's going to give Luke the lightsaber. Now, I know that was then retconned and made to be a joke in the next movie, but every time we get to that end part and it's this merging of generations, I talked about this in One Gotta Stay, interestingly enough, because I was on the one where we ranked the franchises, right, which one you would want, and I always think about my relationship with my father and how that kind of bleeds into that particular moment. So while there are parts of Force Awakens that are kind of silly and obviously just a reminder of what it is we'd experienced in the past, that moment for me always stands out, and I always love it for that. Last Jedi, I love. I unapologetically love. Again, I know that there are parts that are unceremoniously not Star Wars, but that's Rian Johnson. That's what he wanted to do. So I don't have any problems with that. I do think that he treats, and this is not a referendum on Rian Johnson, I do think he treats the characters who are minorities not very well in that, especially Finn. I think this is the start of the Finn nosedive of not having a real character. Rose, a little bit, obviously she's better in that one than she is in the next one, but I think that some characters were done wrong within it, but I unapologetically love that movie. And I saw Rise of Skywalker twice in the theaters, and it's a badly made movie because they didn't have a plan. And it's very quite obvious that they didn't have a plan going into it. There are entertaining portions of it and parts that give me the feels, like him reconnecting with Han, even though that doesn't make any goddamn sense. But I mean, everything at the end is super stupid. Everything from the time after the voices speak to her through to the end is really, really stupid. Am I glad Chewie got a medal? Yeah, but it wasn't Chewie's medal. He got Han's medal, so it's tarnished in a way. I don't give a shit about, like, I assume Lando probably had children around the galaxy. Of course he did. He was a pirate. Cool. Great. Glad that came about. Rey Skywalker, fuck you. You know, just like, so I vacillate on it. I think there's a little bit more better than worse, but I can understand if you went the other way.
Okay, so the sequel trilogy. I remember I watched The Force Awakens 8 times in the opening weekend.
Wow.
I loved it. It was so good, and I thought it was my favorite Star Wars movie. Like, I went and saw it that Thursday night. I went and saw it 5 times on Friday. Watched it once on Saturday and once on Sunday. And then I went and saw it 3 more times the next weekend, and then 1 more time the weekend after that. And I was like, this is so good. And like, I had so many questions. And then The Last Jedi came out, and I understand The Last Jedi is a good movie. Like, I understand that. But I do not think it is a good Star Wars movie, which is the exact opposite thing that I think about The Crimes of Grindelwald. It is a horrible movie, but I think it's a good Harry Potter movie, or in the Wizarding World universe. I do not like The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi was the movie that essentially like took my childhood and like slit its throat. And then, because I never thought that Luke Skywalker would act like that. Like at the end, you know, when
A lot can happen in 30 years.
well, yeah, but like as a person who I've got these drawers over there. They are full of 164 Legend Star Wars books. Luke Skywalker wouldn't have been like that. Like he did everything that he was supposed to do, and like so during that entire course of that movie, I was like, they're killing Luke Skywalker. What in the world are they doing? They're like ruining Luke Skywalker. And like now Mark Hamill has came out and he kind of feels the same way, which makes me feel a little better about myself. But then like the end where he actually like, you know, shrugs his shoulder off and like he actually like becomes one with the Force to like save the rebellion. I was like, oh, so see, that's something Luke Skywalker would do. And then The Rise of Skywalker happens, and they kind of do the exact same thing with Palpatine. Like, they make him, like, absolutely nothing. Like, he was my favorite villain. Like, I love him in the prequels. And they're just like, we're like, ooh, we killed Snoke. We need a villain. Villain from the last movies. Go! And they brought him back. When Kylo could have just been the villain. Like, if Kylo Ren had just been the villain, like, the entire time and then got redeemed at the end, I would have been completely cool with that. That happens. Things like that happen. And that would have been a better movie to me.
Yeah.
But in that version of the timeline, we wouldn't have got the voices in Rey's head, which I love. I love that scene. It's the only scene, The Rise of Skywalker, that I really, really like, is all the voices talking to her.
I like the fight on Endor, parts of it, you know. I like the set piece of the fight, like when he shows up and they fight and they're doing Force stuff to the point where she stabs him. I like Lando because he's unapologetically Lando. But otherwise, then yeah.
And I know, like in The Last Jedi, no one likes the Leia flying back into the ship scene. I love that.
You mean her Superman?
Yeah, I love that scene.
Gotcha.
Because in one of the
it's
books,
beautifully done, but I think it's silly. But go ahead.
In one of the new canon books, it's like the 40 Year for A New Hope book. They have this entire thing where Yoda is on Dagobah and he's fighting, and he's like, I wish I had my lightsaber. I would give it to Skywalker. And then he's talking in his head, and like Obi-Wan appears, and he's like, I'm gonna bring Skywalker to you. And in his head, he's like, good, I want to train her. Yeah. And like in his head, he thinks Leia is the chosen one. Obi-Wan thinks Luke is the chosen one, and like George Lucas said it was Anakin. But the thought that like Yoda's like, she is so much more powerful than her brother, that made me believe, oh yeah, she can fly into a ship completely. I'm cool with that. I'll totally take that. But then we never really see anything with it. She just immediately passes out. And I know, like, unfortunately, the timing of her passing happened, so we didn't get to see that in The Rise of Skywalker, because if she had survived, I'm sure she would have played a much bigger role in The Rise of Skywalker. But because they were having to use,
supposed to be like around her.
Yeah, like she was, but since they had to use archived footage, you know, things happen. So I was not happy about it, and like those two movies make me look back on The Force Awakens, and I don't like it as much now. And I hate that, because I love The Force Awakens. Like, I thought, in my opinion, I thought it was a better New Hope.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Like, until The Rise of Skywalker came out, like, I thought, oh, The Rise of Skywalker will redeem whatever I thought, or they'll continue on the path that The Last Jedi was on. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then it will be a one cohesive story. And it was not, because it was Abrams putting the point here, Ryan pulling it this way, and then Abrams having to pull it all the way back over here. Like, I don't know. Like,
very messy.
Like, I don't think I really like a single movie from the new Like, I like Rogue One.
Yeah.
But now I don't think I like a single part of the sequel trilogy. Like,
oh, come on. There's parts you like. You just don't like any of the movies as a whole anymore because collectively they shook your soul. Right? I mean,
yeah,
come on. You just mentioned that you like the part with the voices in her head. So there are parts.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's true. That is very true.
I understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah. So, I unfortunately am going to have to end the podcast now because apparently something has happened to my son at my mother's house.
Oh.
I have to go run over there and figure that out.
Okay.
But we will talk Falcon and the Winter Soldier privately. We'll message, and I gotta figure this out. So, do you have anything you need to plug real quick before I?
No, I'm just fan league stuff. I mean, I'll be in the fan leagues. I mentioned the Nerdum match with Joe that happened on got aired on Friday, so just watch that. Otherwise, I might be in the Classic that shows up today in Full Metal, but I'm not quite entirely sure where I'm at in that particular timeline. So, otherwise, just at me, Robert Kastner. Okay, and follow the show at SuperNova_show, and follow me on Twitter at ColtonRoberts8. And thank you so much. Yep, there we go. Don't forget to tip your virtual waitress.